Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests, including Elliotte Friedman, standing by for a final time this Donnie and Dolly season. Brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. Book your stay at the Bayside. Enjoy the many amenities the hotel has to offer. Oceanfront rooms, free parking, oceanfront restaurant, cafe, indoor, outdoor swim pools, gym, more. Call 250-248-8333 or go to their website, BaysideResortParksville.com, as we bring in from Hockey Night in Canada and the 32 Thoughts podcast, Elliotte Friedman. Elliotte, we know you're busy. We can't thank you enough for doing this. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Good. How is Vegas? How is the Sphere?
Oh, honestly, Donnie, like, it's one of the things I'll never forget. It's spectacular. It looked great. Everybody was really excited to be there. You know, I have to say this, Don, like, I went to the top of it. Can't believe how steep it is. It's probably the steepest one I've ever been in, but I understand why they did it, for just like the view. You got to go. Like, I'm going to take my family back there for some concert. I'll pick one. They've got the Grateful Dead there now. They've got the Eagles in September. I just said pick one and I'll take you back for it. It was a spectacular experience. And I'll tell you one quick funny story. So when the Canadians pick was coming up at 5, I was standing in my little spot, and they're like, you have to move off to the side. And I'm like, what? And they go, yeah, you got to move off to the side. They're like, well, this is where I'm supposed to be. And they look at me and they go, Celine Dion's coming out. You better move off to the side. So it was just funny. She walked right by me, and the place went berserk. And, you know, apparently the full Canadians table didn't even know about it, because it was one of those things, if it got out, apparently they were worried she wouldn't come. So it was pretty crazy. And the Michael Buffer thing was great too. It was just, loved it. The whole thing was excellent. It was just excellent.
Are you saying that Celine Dion is a bigger celebrity than Elliotte Friedman? Are you kidding
it's close.
me?
Yeah, it's close.
She narrowly edges me out. Like, narrowly, yes.
Okay, DeBrusque, Heinen, Sherwood, others. What's your opinion of what the Canucks have been up to over the last 24 hours?
Well, I like the DeBrusque signing. I do. I think it's a very reasonable contract, basically what you think you're going to get in free agency. I think he's excited to be there. You know, his family obviously still lives in Edmonton. I told Louis that he's going to have to buy he's going to have to get rid of his Oilers pajamas and buy some Canucks pajamas for next year. And he got a good laugh out of that. You know, I heard that basically literally 30 seconds before the Canucks announced it, someone said to me, you better get on it. It's DeBrusque to Vancouver. I think I mentioned it on Halford and Brough in the morning that I was wondering about it, but I didn't know for sure until 30 seconds before they announced it. The Canucks did a good job of keeping it quiet. But I heard that they were aggressive in him at the end. I think there were a lot of teams. But the combination of the offer, let's face it, money matters. The location, I think Western Canada really appealed to him. I thought he was going to end up in Seattle. I really did for a long time. At the end of the week, heading towards free agency, I kept on hearing Kraken. And then literally on, I think, Rick, what was it, Sunday night I called you and I said it might not be Kraken, so you better get on it. Yep. But I didn't know 100% till 2 weeks before they announced it. So I think it's an excellent fit. You know, I'll tell you this, of all their other signings, I really like Sherwood. I do like Sherwood a lot. You know, you see obviously why he got taken out of Nashville. He needed all their money to do some really big things. But he's an edgy guy. He's the kind of guy that Tocchet will like. Like, there was a game last year where he put up a Gordie Howe hat trick in about 4 minutes. And, you know, I'm actually sorry, it might have been 6 minutes, but it was something ridiculous like that. He had a goal and assist in a fight in 6 minutes. He played really hard against the Canucks in that opening round. I think he's a Tocchet type of player. You know, Forbort, everybody knows what he's about. I'm not surprised at all that Myers re-signed. You know, I'll say this too, Patera, the goalie, he had to play quite a bit in unusual circumstances because the Vegas goalies kept getting hurt. I know there were people in Vegas who talked pretty highly about him, about how he was kind of thrown into some weird spots, and they said he gave them everything he could. So they spoke pretty highly about him, and it sounds like he could play a bit next year. So as long as the situation is probably a little bit more normal, I'm sure he can handle it.
Elliotte, the big one here was Guentzel. Obviously, it didn't happen for obvious reasons. If he would have hit July 1st, do you think Guentzel could have ended up in Vancouver? I mean, the whole
No.
Guentzel thing. Oh, really? What do you think would have happened?
I think this is like Rick. I'm sure the Canucks like the idea of Guentzel, and if they had the opportunity to throw a big contract, they might have done it with him. But to me, I think what happened is the longer he waited, like obviously he knew about Tampa's interest.
Yep.
I think that the reason he didn't stay in Carolina was because the Tampa whisper started growing and he really liked the idea. So I think, look, Tampa's not clearing all that salary unless they're pretty confident they're getting Guentzel. And I think once he kind of understood that Tampa was in the game, that's where he was going.
What did you you had the Tanev signing in Toronto first before anyone else. They got his negotiating rights. Talk about Tanev in Toronto, the contract, 6 years. He's 34 years old, Elliotte. Was that their number one target?
Yes. That's been their number one target for quite some time. You know, before Tanev was traded last year to Dallas, even before Zadorov was traded to Vancouver, the Leafs tried to trade for both Tanev and Zadorov at the same time. That's what they wanted to do. And, you know, Tanev was always Brad Treliving's number one target. He knows him. He loves the guy. There was a time Dallas thought they were going to be able to keep him. I know there was a time that they at the end of the season, he liked it there and they wanted to keep him. But at the end of the day, like, you know, he's from Toronto. His family lives in Toronto. His wife's family's she's I think from where he went to school, but it's not far. They have another child due. I just think that between playing for the Maple Leafs and the convenience of it, it was the right thing for them. I'm not surprised at all that Toronto came in at a 6-year term. I believe that was always their strategy. The number came in a little bit higher than I thought, and he got the full no move too. But this was Toronto's number one target, and they really wanted him badly. I think Toronto tried to get Zadorov also. I think initially there were a lot of people who thought Zadorov was going to stay in Vancouver, and it didn't happen. I think Toronto took a good run at Zadorov, but I don't think they were willing to do the 6x5 that Boston eventually did. So that's why I think he ended up there.
Elliotte, I was going to say no more Dan Milstein clients in Vancouver. It's over. It's been a bad year for Dan.
They're all in Calgary now.
I know. They're all in Calgary.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Somebody just told me that Matthew Joseph is getting traded to St. Louis.
Oh, boy. There you go. That's the Ottawa. Ottawa had him on the market, right?
Yeah, I think so. All right, boys, I have to run.
Okay, go.
All right,
Go.
All right. Thanks for everything, Elliotte, throughout the whole season. Obviously, like I said, he's very busy, and we can't thank him enough.